Hey everyone, this is Jack with Average Consumer, where we answer one of two questions. Is it worth your time, and is it worth your money? So today we are going to talk about what I think is the best introductory audiophile headphones a person can pick up. And the reason I'm going to throw these out there is that they are simply $15. And for the price point, I don't think you can find anything that matches the sound quality that you can get out of these things. With that being said, I think this is going to be somewhat controversial because a lot of audiophiles that I've seen online would particularly point people to some of the Grotto headphones like the SR60s, SR80s, and the like. With those headphones, they are great headphones, but you are going to substantially go up in price. The SR60s are going to be in that $60. The SR80s are going to be in that $100. The SR125s are going to be like $150. You can just keep climbing. But these are $15. And I think for the price, they punch well above that price point. So with that being said, and without any further introduction, I'm going to point out the Koss KSC75s. And these headphones look ridiculous. And let's just start off there. They do. They look ridiculous. They aren't a traditional headphone, something that would go over your head. They do not have any kind of noise isolation. In fact, I would classify these as an open back headphone. For those who are unfamiliar with open back and closed back, an open back means that there is no noise isolation. In fact, you're going to hear everything going on around you, and those people around you are likely going to hear at least slightly what you're listening to. So keep that in mind. These are typically not going to be for bass heads because bassy headphones are typically closed back, and these are going to be more open and airy. So let's start off with the build quality, which is pretty poor. I'm going to say that right off the bat. One of the poor elements is that they are made out of really cheap material. A great example is the plastic. Who builds silvery 80s looking things like this anymore? The big plus there is that as far as I'm concerned, it's kind of nostalgic to me, so I kind of like the look of these things because they remind me of my old Walkman back in the day. So if you don't know what a Walkman is, look it up. But they are still pretty janky and plasticky, and it's not high-end stuff at all. In fact, where this ends into the headphone, and I don't know if you can really see it well, but there isn't even a good transition here. This wire is actually soldered directly on the driver in here. There is nothing really extra, anything helping here. So a lot of people complain that this is the weak point, and that's where things break. Another cheap aspect is the clip here. However, I like that because it allows me you can easily bend this to form your ear, your head, and it makes these things extremely comfortable. You'll just downright forget you're even wearing these things. And so long periods of use or time is not an issue at all. In fact, you notice that my headphones have some paint and stuff on them because I wear these for like everything. Because if I'm painting for a day or doing something for a day, if I'm outside working on the yard for the day, I'll pop these things on and I can just kind of forget I have them. Just the big downside of these things is the janky wire that is attached to them. I've had these things for 6 to 9 months now, and that cable has yet to straighten out. And the more I throw them in my backpack, the more janky that cable gets. So don't expect it to be a great cable there. In fact, some people like these headphones so much that it's kind of a modding community that you can find online, and they replace this cable. I don't think I'll ever go to that extent of modding these things, but maybe. I like them that well. But I actually think I'll have a tendency of, for $15, I probably just won't bother with them. And if they break, They break and I buy another set. In fact, I do have another set, and I'm going to possibly, I'm not going to be held accountable for this, but I'm thinking about doing my first mod on a set of headphones, and it would be these, because there's one called the Kramer mod, and it simply removes the plastic housing on this side. It drills some extra holes and snap it back together. So I might do that. I might give it a try, because then I can compare them to the other set I have and see if that's worth your time. Because that's one of the questions we answer. Is it worth your time, or is it worth your money? So where these excel, like I said, is, as much as I'm whining about the build quality, they obviously took all of the money and put them in the driver. These things sound as good as, I used to own a pair of Grotto SR125s. And I'm going to put almost these in almost that same category. So when you're talking about a $15 set of headphones and a $150 set of headphones, the Grottos are going to be better. There's no question to that. For sound quality, they're going to be better. For comfort, there's no comparison. These things are far more comfortable. In fact, you feel like a squirrel is gnawing your ear off if you wear those Grottos for more than a couple hours. They are just not comfortable. And the pads, I don't know what Grotto's doing there. I understand the nostalgic look of those headphones. I frankly kind of like the retro look of those headphones, but man, they can get uncomfortable. And frankly, after having those for a couple of years, I just finally had to let them go. I couldn't wear them for long periods of time where I can with these. Some of the other downsides to these is that I was hoping that I could wear these, plug these into my Xbox controller and use them as the audio, so when the kids are in bed or something, and whether I'm watching TV or just maybe if I wanted to do gaming, which I don't do very often. But for some reason, these headphones don't work. The Xbox doesn't recognize them for some reason, so that type of use is out the window. So keep that in mind. I haven't tried the mass drop version of those on the Xbox, so maybe there's a difference there, and I'll bring that up because the next video I think I'm going to do is a comparison between these and the mass drop version, and that's that second pair that I was referring to. Sound quality is phenomenal, especially for $15, and I think Koss uses the same driver in multiple headsets, and you're going to see that people like one set over another, and the price differences are pretty close. So I'm going to put the KSC75s and their famous Audiophile loves them, the Porta Pros. The Porta Pros are a great headphone. I've heard some complaints about the band, and I don't have the problem, as you can see, but people's hair getting stuck in the band because it's really kind of weird. It connects on top like that instead of on the sides like another headphone like the Schipp 9500s. That doesn't do that. It separates it up here in a piece of wire that people complain about. But they share the same driver, and a Porta Pro is going to cost you $35, $40. These are going to cost you $15. And there's a lifetime warranty associated with these. Although I can't imagine anybody really taking advantage of them, because with the shipping costs and because you have to pay both ways and everything, you might as well probably just buy another set of these things. And at $15, I don't think about these. There's no case or anything. I just kind of wind them up and throw them in my backpack and off I go. What these are ideal for is on things that favor the treble and the mids. There is bass here, but it's not, if you're a bass head, forget it. In most open bed headphones, you're going to have that problem. So if you're listening to folk music, country, heavy metal, classic rock, these are great headphones for that type of thing. So keep that in mind. I've played around with some equalizers and stuff. They're equalizer friendly. They don't need a DAC or an amp to drive these things. They're just great out of the box. I'd compare these like I said, to those Grotto SR125s I used to own, which were $150 set of headphones. I'd compare them to the Schipp 9500s, which are Philips. These are $60 set of headphones. Unfortunately, they're not as readily available anymore, so I see them selling on eBay now used for $100+. But for $15, you just can't beat these. I would classify these, unless I find another reigning champ, these are easily the best bang for the buck headphones that a person can get, that I would classify as audiophile. And I wish I could get my kids to use these instead of the junk that they spend $20, $30 on, and they sound like they're listening through, I don't know, a set of pillows or something. I don't get me on that. That's another rant. So I am going to ask, please kindly like, subscribe, hit that bell. I hope you found some value here, and I will see you next time. But I'll put some links in the notes below so you have easy access to these headphones, because definitely worth the $15. And like I said, punch well above that price point. We'll talk to you next time. Have a great day.